Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner. We are here at Agenda Free TV 2 to bring you some live coverage of this new tropical threat, a possible hurricane situation. Well, a hurricane threat, a possible hurricane situation once this tropical system crosses over Florida. Good evening, everybody. It is There's Steve two of Lookner. Me. Oh no, it's terrible. Agenda Free. Sorry about that. New tropical threat for both Florida and the Gulf Coast. This could be a hurricane by the time it gets into the Gulf Coast and strengthens. They do not know, so we want to bring you an update on this situation. And also take your comments and questions on the air. You can write to me on Twitter. @Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. @Lookner on Twitter. And thanks to all the moderators who are in our chat rooms right now. Thank you to the moderators. Hang on a second. And if you're watching on one of our other platforms, you're just watching on Agenda Free TV. But if you're on YouTube, you're watching on Agenda Free TV too. All right, hang on one second here. Let me just do something really quick. Here and make sure of something. We are still in the experimental, well, we just started this channel officially, but we're still kind of in the experimental stage. Let's see here. Okay, we're all good. We are all good. Yes, Smedley says Steve was right last time. Well, last time, I didn't say there were going to be two hurricanes, but last time, a couple weeks ago on Agenda Free TV 2, really early on, we started covering the possibility of two storms becoming hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. So, and those storms both did develop. But they weren't both hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico at the same time, I don't think. Anyways, all right, so let's talk about this. So there's a new tropical depression. A tropical depression is the lowest level of tropical cyclone. There's tropical depression, tropical storm, and hurricane. Those are three levels of tropical cyclone, and it just depends on what the wind speeds are. So what you have here is a tropical depression, and actually it has formed, it's very close to Florida. Look at how close to Florida it is. That's the current radar right there. So it's not clear if this will be a tropical storm by the time it hits Florida. It's not going to strengthen to a hurricane before impacting Florida. But the thing is, it's supposed to go across Florida and until the Gulf of Mexico, and then it's supposed to strengthen in the Gulf of Mexico. So there's a big question, which is, when it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, will it strengthen to a hurricane? And that's just not clear right now. So we want to talk about that. Maybe show you some of the models, what some of the forecast models are saying. But this is called Tropical Depression 19. It does not get a name until it becomes a tropical storm, which it does when the max sustained winds reach 39 miles an hour. If this becomes a tropical storm, and there are no other new tropical storms, it would be Tropical Storm Sally, if I'm remembering right. I believe it would be Tropical Storm Sally. Okay. Thomas Darwin says Tropical Depression 19 is already an ominous name. Okay, so let's talk about where this is going or where it's projected to go. These Paulette and Renee, by the way, Tropical Storm Paulette and Tropical Storm Renee, these are at this point not supposed to impact the U.S. So here is Tropical Depression 19 right here. That's where it is. So look at the cone here. See, there's your cone. So it's not clear yet whether this is going to be a tropical storm by the time it crosses over Florida. There are tropical storm watches, meaning tropical storm weather is possible in southeast coast of Florida. But the current track has it not becoming a tropical storm until it gets to the Gulf of Mexico. But when it gets to the Gulf of Mexico, it is supposed to strengthen. Now, there's a question of, will it strengthen how much will it strengthen the Gulf of Mexico? Will it become a hurricane? And where will it go? There's a lot of uncertainty about both of those things right now. The wind right now is 35. So if it jumps up another 5 miles an hour if it jumps up to 40, if it jumps up to 39. I think they do it in 5 mile an hour increments at the National Hurricane Center. So if it jumps up to 39, though, it's a tropical storm. By the way, FFC says Miami's going to flood. Yeah, something else we'll do is talk about what the forecast is in terms of rainfall for southeast Florida and southern Florida, because they're going to be getting a bunch of rain there. So that's true. Yeah. So, but this, I mean, it's normally when you hear about a new tropical depression, it's not so close to the coast. This thing is so close to the coast. I mean, look at the radar. That's your radar. How fast is it moving, by the way? It says 8 miles an hour, so not that fast. 8 p.m. Friday, 2 p.m. Saturday. So basically, from tonight to tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be passing over Florida as a tropical depression or a tropical storm. Okay, so let's look at, I want to show you the discussion, the forecast discussion. I think that's helpful to look at. What you can see here, now this is interesting. Look at the bottom here. This is the forecast current forecast for how strong the wind will get. Now they have it getting up to 70 miles an hour. So that's almost 70 is as close you can get. 70 is as close as you can get to hurricane without it actually being a hurricane in terms of, because they go by 5 mile an hour increments. Once you get to 75, it's a hurricane. So right now, they have it as as very close to a hurricane. Oops, hold on one second here. Let me just make sure something is working here. Let's see here. I'm doing a quick test here to see if this thing is working. Hang on. Let's do that. Okay. Give me one more second here. Let me just check something else. As I mentioned, this channel is in a newish stage. So I'm just checking some things here. Okay, we seem to be all good. So even right now, it's the current forecast is for it to be almost a hurricane. But that could change, and they talk about this in the forecast discussion. So let's show you what they said. We should look at the satellite. GOES 16 1-minute satellite data show the system near the Bahamas that we've been monitoring for the last couple of days is quickly organized into a tropical depression. A well-defined center is present. The initial wind speed is 30 knots. So 35 miles an hour. Let me show you the satellite shot. Actually, go to Tropical Tidbits. Storms. Tropical Depression 19. Where's satellite? Satellite image. Here is the Tropical Tidbits satellite image. Let's look at this. It's not so easy for me to see. I guess it's in here. Let's see here. And then if we go here, they should have a satellite up here too. No, they don't. If we go back one. Satellite, here they do. Satellite. Ooh, this is the one from NOAA. Hey, let's play a loop. Where's the loop? Why can't I do loop? I don't see the option for loop, unfortunately. That's where it is, though. Oh, these are loops. That's a loop. So you get the idea of where it is. It's a little far away. How about this? Nope, that's not a loop. Okay, so let's show you what the National Hurricane Center has to say about this. Here's what they have to say about this. It is uncertain. They say it's uncertain whether the large burst of convection over the center will continue and cause the depression to become a tropical storm before reaching Florida. So we do not know yet. Hang on a second. Let's get back here. We do not know yet if this is going to be a hurricane by the time it crosses over into over Florida. Not a hurricane. I'm sorry. It's not going to be a hurricane. We do not know if it's going to be a tropical storm by the time it crosses over Florida. It will not be a hurricane. Okay. However, since it's only a 5-knot increase from the current intensity, it's possible that tropical storm conditions could still occur along the southeast Florida coast late tonight, and a tropical storm watch has been issued for the southeast Florida coast. Otherwise, after the system reaches the eastern Gulf of Mexico, after it passes over Florida, steady intensification is expected through the weekend due to expected light wind shear in very warm water. Warm water, low wind shear means good conditions for the strengthening of the hurricane. Strengthening of the tropical cyclone, which could become a hurricane. Some increase in wind shear could occur over the northern Gulf of Mexico, but that is uncertain at this time. That would weaken the storm. The first forecast will stay conservative and only show a peak intensity of 60 knots, 70 miles an hour in 3 to 4 days. But, this is important, but do not be surprised if that is revised upward on later forecasts once other models better initialize the depression. So what they're saying here is they've kept their forecast conservative. They have this thing getting into the Gulf of Mexico and strengthening and almost getting to be a hurricane, but not quite. But they call that a conservative forecast. And when they say once other models better initialize the depression, I think what they're saying is, so weather models like the European model, the American model, they consider those models predictions when they come up with their own prediction, National Hurricane Center. Now, weather models run a number of times a day. I think the American model runs 4 times a day, and the Euro model runs 4 times a day. But I know Tropical Tidbits has 2 of them, but I think it runs 4 times a day. But those weather models take a long time to run. So by the time you see a weather model come out with its predictions, that model started running. The way the models work is basically think of it as like a computer program. You tell the computer program what the weather is now. You give it the initial conditions. And then the computer program works and eventually it spits out a forecast. But it takes a while to run. So when you see like the American model results come out, the initial conditions that were programmed into the model were programmed in hours and hours ago. So what they're saying here is this storm has recently strengthened into a tropical depression. That happened recently. So the most recent models are not going to have the initial conditions of it strengthening into a tropical depression, because that's too recent to have gone into the last model runs. Now, as from now on, when a model starts running, it'll have it programmed in that, oh, this thing is a tropical depression now, so that could cause the model to increase eventually how strong the storm is going to get, its predictions of it. So that's basically what they're saying. I hope that made some sort of sense. That's what they're saying here. So they think maybe the models are going to start showing this to be a hurricane. The models they might start predicting this will become a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico once the models account for the fact that it has now strengthened into a tropical depression. Okay? So that's point 1. You should not be surprised if the forecast eventually becomes this is going to become a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. That's what they're saying here. Point 2 is on the uncertainty about where this is going to go. Okay, so they talk about some of the factors here that are going to steer the hurricane. The uncertainty in the track forecast right now is much larger than normal after 48 hours. So they're pretty certain about where it's going to go over the next 48 hours. After that, there's a lot of uncertainty, as small changes in the forecast steering flow could result in this system moving over northern Gulf Coast faster into the northeast of what is shown here. As a result, the risk of seeing direct impacts from the system extends well outside the cone of uncertainty, even more so than usual in this case. So they're saying that this thing might, a possibility they just raised here is that, if I'm getting them right, you might have a situation where it moves more to the northeast, like even, oops, hey, what happened there? It might go, here or here, or that's what they're saying. They're saying it might move more to the northeast than anticipated. So it's not clear what's going to happen. Now, I don't know that. Here's another thing to watch out for. Here's another very important thing to watch out for. If this storm ends up taking a track like this, that gives it a lot more time to strengthen. The more time this storm is over the warm water, and assuming there's low wind shear, it's going to have more time to strengthen. So it could make a really big difference to the strength of the storm at landfall if it takes a track like this or a track like this. Because if it takes a track like this, it's going to make landfall right there. If it takes a track like this, it might go all the way, to Texas or something. I mean, part of Texas is in the cone of uncertainty. So that's a big difference. How long it actually stays over the water will be dependent in part on what exact track it takes. Hey, by the way, I do want to say a quick thank you to Charles Goki. That's very kind of you, Charles Goki. I think Charles Goki is the first person to ever make a super chat donation to Agenda Free TV 2. How about that? Pretty cool. This channel is monetized now. So thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. We're going to talk about this some more. I'm going to show you some of the weather model predictions. I want to take some contents from you guys first. Give me a shout on Twitter @Lookner. But again, that forecast discussion from the National Hurricane Center basically says we're being conservative, but don't at all be surprised if this thing becomes a hurricane. And I wouldn't at all be surprised, even overnight, for their forecast to start bumping up the predicted intensity of this thing. Okay, I'm going to take some comments here, and we should see if any of the models are running too. But we'll take some comments first. Rogue Dog says, "Don't put that anywhere near Louisiana." Yeah, we just don't know right now where this thing is going. Oh, we got to talk about the rainfall tonight in Florida. We'll talk about that too. Oh, hey, thanks, Don Teller, for your support. Thank you so much, Don Teller. That's very kind of you. Thanks also, Ghosty Girl, for the super hearts. Thanks, Ghosty Girl. I got to thank our mods too. We got to do that. Oops. Hang on. Before I do this, let me fix this. Let's thank the moderators. Oh, thank you, by the way, Sean Keating and Sabrina Peak. Thank you for the Facebook stars. Yeah, I really appreciate the moderators here on Agenda Free TV 2 and Agenda Free TV if you're watching on non-YouTube. Curly Q, Danny James, Joanna, Sarah, Ucha Kabbalah, Havasumam, Mark Helton, Becky Scarlett. By the way, Misha is recovering, as many of you know, from her surgery, so certainly hope she feels better soon. Contow Creek's moderating too. Sharon Craig is in our Periscope chat moderating. Thank you, Sharon, for moderating there. Linda Belk. I think Linda's on vacation, but she's still modding. Thank you, Linda. Yes. Thank you. One of our viewers is watching. Hello from Texas, I think is probably in Texas. Thanks to our Facebook moderators, Kimberly Peterson, Courtney Lane, Shay Durner, Joe Serino, Dan Lindquist, Josh Tompkins, Ann Remington, Denise Fredrickson, thank you. And our Twitch moderators. Thanks, Twitch mods. We have, oops, hang on a second. I need to get this up on the screen here. I need to get it up on the screen. Riff Track, Sort of Wonderful, Tariag, and XXD are all moderating. Thank you. Oh, and thank you, Laurel, for your support. That's very kind of you. Laurel, thank you. Much appreciated. Britt, I am on YouTube now, but on YouTube, there's now a second channel called Agenda Free TV 2, where, so on YouTube, we'll do some coverage on Agenda Free TV and some coverage on Agenda Free TV 2. But if you watch on Facebook or Twitch or Periscope or Twitter, you'll just see one channel. All right, let me read a few up. Some people say this is not showing up on YouTube. Well, no, it's not on Agenda Free TV because this is not Agenda Free TV. It's Agenda Free TV 2. Oh, thank you, Charles Goki. That's very kind of you, Charles. Charles says, I am finally first at something. That's very kind of you, Charles. Yes, you will forever be the first super chat on Agenda Free TV 2. So much appreciated, Charles Goki. Yeah, and by the way, in case you didn't know this, if you do watch us on Agenda Free TV on YouTube, I guess most of you probably know this, but in case you did not know this, there's now a second YouTube channel. So that's Agenda Free TV right there. See Agenda Free TV 2, different channel. Only on YouTube. Only on YouTube. Different channel, Agenda Free TV 2. You can find it right on Agenda Free TV, right there. If you want to know why there's an Agenda Free TV 2, well, look, introducing Agenda Free TV 2, second channel, more news coverage, more live news coverage. So you can go watch this video on Agenda Free TV, and it explains why there's a second channel. Okay? Okay. It's showing up as a live stream in the subscribers list. I have another account where so I can check if it's showing up. It's in the subscription feed for that account. It's there. It's there. Okay. All right. If you have comments, questions, updates, write to me on Twitter @Lookner. Clown, our viewer, says, if this goes even a tiny bit more south, it might not even weaken the Everglades and its swamps will help the storm. So right now, if we look at, so what Clown is referring to is if a tropical cyclone goes over land, that's going to weaken it. I don't know that there's certainly there's a difference between this storm going here and here. Those are both in the cone. I kind of messed this up on the bottom there. But if you see down here, it'll be over land less. Although I don't know at this point, because it's kind of like it's not that well organized a storm. I don't know how big a difference that's going to make in its eventual intensity. Now, the forecast discussion, for example, did not mention, the forecast discussion we did read, they didn't say, well, the track this thing takes over Florida is going to make a huge difference. So my guess is it won't make a huge difference because I would guess they would have mentioned it. But we'll see what happens. It's so close right now to Florida, it's not going to have much chance to veer off. There's your radar, by the way. Yolande says no mountains in Florida to weaken the storm. Reindeer says the red live icon is not there. No, it is there. I'm looking at it. There's a red live icon right there. Maybe hit refresh. Oh, I am Angie is moderating too. Thank you. Eric Phillips says, my sister lives north of Naples, Bonita Springs area. Thanks to you, I will notify her. Hang on. Thank you, Clown, for writing in. Hold on a second. Boo, boo, boo. Oh, now speaking of what Clown said about the storm possibly going further to the south and going over Florida less of Florida, or for going over Florida for less time, HMB sent me this from Jack Sillen. And Jack Sillen said, weather forecasting. On radar imagery this evening, I'm noticing that Tropical Depression 19's mid-level center seems to be diving southwest rather than moving due west. If the center establishes itself farther south, potential intensity ceiling rises. That's what Clown was saying. If it were to miss Florida or go over land significantly less, that's what he's saying. Okay, thank you, HMB. Tony says, how are the temps of the waters near it? They're warm. That's Tony Del Monte asked that. They're warm. That's what National Hurricane Center said. You can always check the water temperatures on Windy. Windy has them. Where is Windy? I thought I had Windy bookmarked here. If you go to Windy, get rid of these. X. More layers. There should be a water temperature. Isn't there? Sea temperature. Yeah, sea temperature. So you can go to Windy and just do this. Yeah, it's warm. I know 85, 86 is good for tropical cyclones because we've covered this before and they've said that. So. Oh, thanks. Hey, thank you, SC. Thanks, SC, for your support. I appreciate that, SC. Thanks for thanking the mods. Also, I guess SC says, get well, Arizona Jumper. I didn't hear what was up with Arizona Jumper, but certainly if Arizona Jumper's not feeling well, I hope Arizona Jumper feels better. All right, so let's... Hold on a second here. Hold on. Tony thinks it's going to make landfall between Mobile and New Orleans. A lot of uncertainty about where it's going to make landfall. Okay. So just to go over what we're talking about again, a tropical depression has formed off the coast of Florida. It is forecast to possibly become a tropical storm when it's over Florida, but maybe not. But once it hits the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to strengthen. The current forecast has it becoming almost a hurricane, just below a hurricane by the time it makes landfall. But the National Hurricane Center says that could change. That's a conservative forecast. And don't be surprised if they end up forecasting this thing to become a hurricane when it's in the Gulf of Mexico. And they say there's lots of uncertainty about where this thing is going. Now, in terms of the amounts of rainfall that Florida is going to get, public advisory. Rainfall, okay? There's a tropical storm watch, by the way, for southeastern Florida, which means tropical storm conditions possible. See the yellow there? Tropical storm watch. As to exactly where that watch is, well, we can go here. Interactive map. You actually can go here and zoom in. So that's your tropical storm watch area, everything in the yellow. Okay, so here's in terms of the rainfall for Florida. Rainfall, Tropical Depression 19 is expected to produce total rainfall amounts of 1 to 3 inches with isolated maximum amounts of 5 inches across central and southern Florida, including the Florida Keys. This rainfall could produce isolated flash flooding and prolong ongoing minor flooding on rivers in the Tampa Bay area. 1 to 3 inches, isolated maximum of 5 inches. Wonder if Weather Channel has a rainfall map up. They sometimes do. Let's see. They might have a water. Let's see if they have a rainfall map. Oh, no. They don't even have an article. They don't even have an article. They just have a video. Well, enough. So much for them. All right. Hey, so let's look. I'm going to take a couple more comments. Then we're going to look at what the spaghetti models say about this thing. SC says, weather experts giving the percentage... Any weather experts giving the percentages might turn into a hurricane. Well, what we'll do is I'll show you like what some of the spaghetti models and what some of the models are saying. More models than not in the most recent spaghetti model, well, not spaghetti model. In the recent intensity guidance, more models than not had it as a tropical storm, not a hurricane. But National Hurricane Center said is that those models were not incorporating the fact that it actually had already strengthened into a tropical depression. So we would expect to see higher forecasts from future model runs. So this is 19. We want Tropical Depression 19. There it is, 19. Okay, intensity guidance. So what this is this is from Tropical Tidbits. And this is this afternoon, basically, this afternoon, model runs, and it's showing you some different models, how strong they thought the storm was going to get. Now you can see a couple of them have it getting into Category 1 hurricane, but the National Hurricane Center says they wouldn't be surprised if this went up. So in a few hours, whenever the next one of these comes out, I would not be surprised to see more of these models having it get up into hurricane level. Jessica says the HWRF model ran a little. She said that ran recently. We'll look at that. We're gonna look at some of the individual models shortly. So, but it's interesting. I mean, this, a lot of the storms we've been following generally, they're like we start following them when they're several days out. They don't even become tropical depressions until they're several days out from the U.S. when they become tropical depressions. This thing is like right on top of Florida almost when it becomes a tropical depression. And by late tomorrow, it should be going into the Gulf of Mexico. KTH says, watching here in the Panhandle, we've been waiting for our generator to be fixed since June. COVID caused a huge backlog. Onoko Pro says next spaghetti models come out within the next 45 minutes or so. Plano says, I like the pink one. Okay. Let me get some more information here. Hang on a second here. Renee Bruce says, I live in Florida. My number one source of information is myfoxhurricane.com. Our viewer George Switch in Facebook says Lake Charles, Louisiana doesn't need this. The Cajun Navy has a call out for help. Many are still in damaged houses and without power from the earlier hurricane that passed through there. Southwest Louisiana. They were needing flashlights, batteries, volunteers to check on the elderly daily, gas cans filled with gas. Yeah, a lot of people still without power in Louisiana. That's a good point that George makes. If you go to poweroutage.us, Louisiana still has 95,000 customers without power. That's where the hurricane was. Still without power. Hang on. Ooh, I need to fix this. See, Louisiana. Look at that. Crazy. Terrible. So they certainly don't need that. Oh, thanks, Denise Fredrickson, for the stars also on Facebook and for modding. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Balder says, Gulfport, Mississippi, good luck. I don't know if Balder is in Gulfport. All right, let's look at some of the spaghetti models and some of the individual models. Let's do that next. That I like doing. Okay, so this is from Tropical Tidbits. This is a spaghetti model diagram from Tropical Tidbits. And this gives you a nice picture of some of the range of possibilities here. Look at that. So you have the model's pretty certain on this thing going over Florida here. But once it gets into the Gulf, I mean, look at this. You have one taking it into the Florida Panhandle, one taking it into, that's going to be like Mobile area around there. One taking it into probably Mississippi, Louisiana border, some into Louisiana, and one into Texas. Look at that range from that spaghetti diagram. And then something else to notice is, if it makes landfall up here, like on this pink model, has it making landfall after about, 80, 90 hours? This red model has it making landfall after, 130 or 40 hours? So this path down here would give it a lot more time to strengthen. JMJ channel says, I have to check if my job, Busch Gardens, will be open on Monday. Hey, thanks, Idaho Star. Thank you, Idaho Star. Idaho Star is in Idaho Star's college apartment. Congrats, Idaho Star. I hope setup is going well. All right, let's go to Tropical Tidbits and check out some of the individual models. Now, my question is, remember the National Hurricane Center says that the models would be expected to start showing a stronger storm in the future because they'll start incorporating the fact into the model that the storm has now strengthened to a tropical depression. So if we do this, we want to go to Tropical Tidbits forecast models. Okay. So let's look at the last American model run. Okay, and we'll go to regions. We want to see Florida, Southeast U.S. Now, I don't even know what this is going to show. Oops, no, I want this run. Now, what am I looking at here? This is supposed to be forecast hour. This is supposed to be 8 p.m. tonight. I don't think is that it? Hold on, let's play this forward. It's a little funky there. Okay, so that's the prediction for what it'll be like in tomorrow at like 4 p.m. Okay, that's like tomorrow at 4 p.m. You can see where the L is right there. This is the American forecast model. Now, if we start playing it forward a little bit, I'm going to just do it manually here. You can also see the pressure is 1,005 here. So maybe not a hurricane yet there. And this is what the American model predicts. And you should start seeing that pressure number go down. Ooh, now this is interesting. See, this is the American model, and it has it, well, let's see, hang on. It doesn't really have it strengthening, though. See that? The pressure, it has this thing kind of meandering around. Look at this. Huh. And not strengthening. That's interesting. And then it's gone. Right? Oh, no, there it is. Huh. So that's the American model. Yeah, it doesn't have it really strengthening. Maybe because of wind shear? That'd be my guess. Kind of meandering. I don't even think that's a hurricane at that point. What is the pressure right now? The pressure right now is 1,008. That's the pressure right now, 1,008. So if it if it strengthens, the pressure will go down. Oh, I missed this. Jessica said that the advisory mentioned that the GFS model wasn't picking it up very well. I didn't see that part. That's what Jessica said. Oh, I didn't look at the forecast advisory? Forecast public advisory? Let's see. No, it's not in the forecast. Public advisory? Maybe, I didn't see it in the forecast discussion. Yeah, Jessica, if you want to send me the link, you can write to me on Twitter, @Lookner. JMJ says, if the shear is pretty strong, then it won't get that strong. All right, so that was one model. Let's look at another model. We looked at the American model, but again, now the next American model run, I forget what times of day everything runs. I want to say maybe it runs at like 11 p.m. or something. Oh, hey, when was the latest update? Did we miss an update? Hold on. No. Public advisory. So it's still not a tropical storm yet. It's moving at 8 miles an hour. That 8 p.m. the 8 p.m. update came out, but they didn't do a new forecast discussion. The cone, I think that's similar to the cone before. Yeah, they haven't changed the forecast. Heavy rains across South and Central Florida tonight and Saturday. All right, let's look at let's do another model run. Let's look at the one of our viewers wanted us to do the HWRF model. 19. Now with this, what you have to do is, okay, it's a little tricky because when you play it forward, it centers on a storm. So this is the latest run of the HWRF model. There it is right there. Okay, so I gotta go more slowly here. Let me slow things down. So that's 1,008. Then it's 1,003. So it has it strengthening a little bit before making landfall. Then it's landfall Florida. I don't know if that's a tropical storm there. Maybe. Then you could see 1,000, 1,002, 1,002, 1,001, 1,002. It goes across the bottom part of Florida. Some heavy rainfall there. This is, let's see here. Now it starts going into the Gulf of Mexico. 999, it strengthens a little bit. 998, 995. At this point, it's probably maybe a Cat 1. 992, 989, 985. Probably still a Cat 1. 978, 975, 970. Maybe a Cat 2. 969, 974. And it has it making landfall as a hurricane, maybe like a Cat 2. And that's right at the Panhandle / Alabama coast, right? So that's the HWRF model, which tends to, from we've been watching this. I know the last few storms, the HWRF has been on the strong side of the intensity guidance, although sometimes it ends up being correct. Oh, did I thank Robert L. Keltner? Thank you, Robert L. Keltner. Much appreciated, Robert L. Keltner. Thank you. So, that's another possibility. Linda Belk says they are saying it won't get above 70 miles an hour. Mark Suduth said he thinks it will become a hurricane. JMJ says, Show Channel says, are you going to check on the high aloft winds and low level? No, that sounds like beyond my level of expertise. I don't have that kind of expertise. See, Michelle Sparks says, interesting trajectory. So we'll have to start watching these models as they come out. Okay, here is the radar, by the way. Oops. But, we'll know pretty soon. I mean, it seems like we're covering this a little. You might say you're covering it early. It's a tropical depression. But within like a day, this thing is supposed to be, by late tomorrow, it's supposed to be in the Gulf of Mexico already. Miracle Ninja says, what time do the planes go in? The Hurricane Hunter planes? I do not know. Well, it's not a hurricane yet. I don't know that they would go in for a tropical depression. But if you look at the track, where's the track? By 2 p.m. tomorrow, it's already entering, reaching the end of Florida and entering the Gulf of Mexico. So in a couple days, we'll have a much better sense. I mean, look at the forecast landfall for this track is 2 p.m. Tuesday. It'll be interesting to see in the 11 o'clock update. They do big 6-hour updates at National Hurricane Center. And so I'll be interested to see. It might be the case that by the 11 p.m. update, they have an H here. Who knows? Well, maybe we might do more coverage later tonight on this. All right, give me a shout on Twitter, @Lookner, if you have comments, questions, updates. We'll look at some more of the models, too. And HMB sent me this from Bill Cairns. First model guidance in for the new Tropical Depression 19. Everything agrees with the National Hurricane Center, but center could be farther south than where models initialized. I'd favor more western side of tracks for now. So what Bill Cairns is saying is that the latest models you're seeing predicting where the hurricane will go, they're using the initial conditions programmed in from hours ago. But he's saying that the actual center of the storm is further south than the models were assuming it would be. So he's saying that's why he thinks he's showing you what we just showed you, the spaghetti diagram and the intensity forecast. And he's saying that because the actual center of the storm he thinks is further south than the models assumed it would be at this point, then he's favoring the more southern westerly tracks. But to repeat, if this thing goes this way, that could give it a lot more time to be over water, which could give it a lot more time to strengthen. And we've seen from previous storms, like the one a few weeks ago, in a day, under the right conditions, a storm can really strengthen a lot. Miracle Ninja says, West Louisiana is still in a mess from last one. Don't hit here. Oh, thanks, Linda Belk, for the Super Hearts. And again, this would be Sally if it becomes a tropical storm, which it could do in the next day or so. See what some of the other weather experts are saying. Let's see. Hang on a second here. I'm just peeking around to see if anybody else, any other weather experts are. Levi Cowan posted. I like seeing what he has to say. He's the guy who does Tropical Tidbits, the site. The tilted structure of Tropical Depression 19 is very clear this hour on radar, with the surface low east of Miami and the mid-level low west of Andros. Andros is one of the Bahamas Island. I'm guessing that this is Andros right here. These two must align before significant intensification can occur. Showers, rain, gusty winds coming for South Florida overnight and tomorrow. Let me make sure I have Andros right. Andros Island is there, yes. So I don't know exactly what all this means, but he's saying the surface low and the mid-level low need to align. But this is the kind of thing, not a lot of people are paying attention to this, but another day or two, you might have a lot of people paying attention to it. What happens if they run out of the alphabetical names? One of our viewers says $80. One of the viewers was saying it's Greek names. I'm not sure. Why, blah, 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 blah. How do hurricanes get their names? Earth Sky Org. It should say it more. Here it is. What happens if we run out of Atlantic storm names? The 22nd storm would name blah, blah, blah. This is WWL-TV. This is from 2020. Greek alphabet may be used for only second time in history with this hurricane season. With the historic peak of the Atlantic hurricane season right around the corner, forecasters may run out of traditional names. There's a list of 21 names used to identify systems. If more than 21 named storms happen in a season, they have to move to a different list. The list of names is alphabetical, starting with A every season. It does not contain names for all 26 letters. Forecasters skip over the letters Q, U, X, Y, and Z due to the very few names that begin with those letters. After the last name on the list is used, additional storms will take names from the Greek alphabet. That means the 22nd would be named Alpha, followed by the second letter Beta, and so long. There are 24 letters in the Greek alphabet. There you go. Oh, here's the Atlantic storm names. There we go, right there. So actually, Paulette and Renee have now been used. So there are only 4 left. This will be Sally. Then there'll only be 3 left. And then you have the Greek. This is a good article, actually. Greek alphabet storm names. Iota. You could have tropical storm Iota. These would be cool. Jeez. Look at those. How about Tropical Storm Moo? How about Hurricane Moo? There could be Hurricane Moo. Hey, thank you, TH. I very much appreciate TH. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying the coverage. TH, thank you. Then we have Teddy, Vicky, and Wilfred after Sally. Again, this is from 4WWL. Interesting. Diane Dean recommends Mike's weather page. Yeah, I've looked at that before. It's a very good page. That's another, in addition to Tropical Tidbits, Mike's weather page is a good page to check out. All kinds of info there. Jessica McBride says, the first forecast will stay conservative, yes it has, and only show a peak intensity of 60 knots, 70 miles an hour in 3 to 4 days, but do not be surprised if that's revised upward. Oh, yeah, I think they said that in their forecast discussion. That's like the blurb from the forecast discussion. We talked about that earlier. Yeah, literally this. I think you meant to say that that's the blurb. So again, right now they have it getting up till 70 miles an hour, but they say that's conservative. Let's check out another model. Let's see what the model says. Wow, Pete Ferozzi says if Storm Iota comes, so if they reach Hurricane Iota, he says, I ought to get out of here. Oh my gosh, Pete Ferozzi, I should hide you just for that. Sabrina Peak says, I live in Florida and would be very nervous evacuating to a shelter. Well, for now, I mean, if you're in southern Florida, you're not going to have to evacuate for this because it's so close. But once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, it's supposed to strengthen. But at most, this would be a tropical storm going over Florida. Now, there's plenty of rain coming, though. Okay. Let's look at another model. Go to Tropical Tidbits. We will go to, let's look at the Canadian model. What the heck? Let's look at the Canadian model and see what the Canadian model says. Here's the Canadian model. Regions. We want Southeast US. See if this works. What will it say? Oh, there it is, making its way. Look at that. So this is the latest. Now this might change next model run, but this is pretty similar to the American model. The American Canadian models both have this thing not strengthening that much and making landfall, maybe it's a tropical storm, right near the end of the Panhandle. Watch this. See, the pressure isn't going down much on this model run. You know what would be bad on this model run, which is interesting though? It hasn't like sticking around for like 24 hours. Like it doesn't move much. See, once it gets, look at this model. These are 6 hour increments. 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours. That would be a lot of rain for the Panhandle if that happened. I mean, yeah, it stays there for like, 40 hours or something. It's a lot of, so that's another issue. Let's try the German model. How about the euro? The euro is going to give us, the euro has it, look at the euro, has it landing there. Now the euro we only see in 12-hour increments. So the latest euro model run, I don't know if this is the latest one. I think there's probably an 18Z somewhere. Where can we see the 18Z? Isn't there somewhere we can see the 18Z euro model? One of you guys might know. I think there might be a site you can go to so you can see 4 euro models a day rather than 2. Something weather? Pivotal weather? Does pivotal weather have it? Let's see. Pivotal weather. Okay. Models. Oh, I got it. European model. No. They have only every 2. Same thing. Anyways, the latest Euro run, which is a little old at this point, has it similar, pretty similar to the other couple models. Florida Panhandle, not strengthening much. But we'll see if that changes because the National Hurricane Center said that the future models coming up should have it be stronger because they're going to take into account the fact that it's already strengthened to a tropical depression, which they didn't previously. Hey, thank you, M. Taylor, for your support. That's very kind of you, M. Taylor. M. Taylor says, I'm right on the coast near St. Pete, so not too worried, but obviously interested. You'll probably get some rain there. Appreciated, M. Taylor. Thank you. Now, another question, though, is, so this thing is going to go into the Gulf, right? But could it double back on itself? So if we go to the tropical tidbits and we go to storms, 19, spaghetti diagram, like this one has it going back this way. I mean, how early could it go to the northeast? That I do not know. Big range of possibilities, though. But don't fall asleep on the possibility of it taking a more southern track, like Bill Cairns was suggesting. And if it takes a southern track, and it goes like a track like this, and there's low wind shear. Wind shear is where you have different wind speeds and directions at different heights. Wind shear is not good for tropical cyclones. But if there's low wind shear and you have extra time for the storm to go over water, you could get a stronger storm, say approaching Texas. Give me a shout at Lookner. Check out more comments here. Hey, thanks, by the way, Valerie Maglio-Accetti. Thank you. And Brian Wingett for the Facebook stars. Much appreciated. Thank you. And again, in case you're just joining us, the basic story is new tropical depression formed. It's about to go over Florida tonight into tomorrow. By late tomorrow, it will already have gone over Florida, maybe as a tropical storm. We'll see if it strengthens to a tropical storm. But once it gets in the Gulf of Mexico, it's supposed to strengthen. And there's the National Hurricane Center is saying do not be surprised if this strengthens into a hurricane. Alibaba says how early the turn depends on how strong the high is that is coming in from the north going southeast and how strong the depression is. Weak low and stronger high would mean it would turn earlier on model. And you can read more about the stuff, thanks Alibaba, that Alibaba is talking about. If you go to the forecast discussion, it talks about that here. The hurricane goes basically where the wind takes it. Strong ridging of the strong ridging over the southeastern U.S. is expected to steer the cyclone to the west-northwest, then northwest as a mid-latitude trough erodes the western side of the ridge over the weekend. I am not an expert on all that wind stuff and high pressure, low pressure, but basically they have to figure out what the weather's going to be around it to figure out where this thing is going. It is moving, I think, at 8 miles an hour. 8 miles an hour. Pressure is 1,008, I think. So as we go forward, it'll be interesting to see, does that pressure go down? Let's check out one more model. Let's just do the HMON model. How about HMON models? HMON model, 19. Okay, let's play this one forward. This is from Tropical Tidbits. The HMON model. Okay, here we go. We'll play it forward. Oops, I need to do this. Play. Okay, gosh, it's hard to see. Hold on, let's slow this down. Now, we got to just keep an eye on it here. I'll go more slowly. So it says 1004L, 1004, 1005. That's crossing over Florida. 1005, 1003, 1002. So it has a crossing over Florida and strengthening a bit. Maybe to tropical storm by that point. 1001, 1002. 999, probably getting close to a hurricane if not quite. 999, 994, it's approaching the panhandle. 990, might be a hurricane by this point. maybe a Cat 1. Oh, it goes along the panhandle a little bit, kind of stalls a bit, and then makes landfall. Another model, again, I don't know where this is going, but these models, a number of them, the last model run of it, for the number of the models, the most recent model run has it making landfall somewhere in the panhandle. That is as compared to, the panhandle is certainly in the cone. This has it a bit more west. But that's another model. I mean, that's probably a hurricane right there if it's at that pressure. Here, I'll hit play on it. Now it kind of lingers it. Now look at that. Hold on, look at this. Look what happens right at the end. Okay, so it has it making landfall. And then it starts going kind of curving back and going back over Florida. See, and then all that rain. See this? Every one of these is these are 3 hour increments. Look at it. Now, at that point, there's not much rain left. It's kind of petered out. Oops, hang on a second here. I got to restart the periscope. All right, give me a shout if you have comments at Lookner. Sabrina just messaged me and said a couple people on Facebook were talking about the fan badges. So Facebook does this thing where they will give badges to viewers called like top fan. I have no control over it whatsoever. It has nothing to do with me. I think it's cool they do it, but it depends on things on like how much you interact with the channel and stuff. So it has nothing to do with me whatsoever. I have no choice who they give it to. They don't send a list to me. So I think if you're on Facebook, and there might be like a page you can go to where it describes it, but it's something, it's out of my hands. See, look. Does it say here? People who qualify can become eligible for a top fan badge on your page on Facebook. Let's see. You can become eligible to turn a top fan badge on by being one of the most active people on a page, which can include watching the page's videos, liking it, or reacting to its content, and commenting on or sharing its posts. So I don't control the top fan badges in Facebook. Has nothing to do with me. I appreciate people being fans enough to get a top fan badge. But maybe it changes from day to day. All right. Yeah, George Switch, I don't know exactly how they figure it out. All right, well, look, the situation is that every few hours that goes by, we will know more about this. The really big question for now, I mean, obviously it's going to rain some in South Florida. South Florida and Central Florida, we saw them say 1 to 3 inches, some places up to 5 inches in Florida. But the really big question right now is what happens when it gets into the Gulf? How much is it going to strengthen? Is it going to strengthen to a hurricane? It might. If so, how strong will it get? What track will it take? And we'll know. We'll see what happens. We'll certainly be covering this more. I think what we'll probably do is, even by the next time we cover this, I might move it over to if National Hurricane Center starts saying there's going to be a hurricane, then I'm going to move it over to Agenda Free TV. So, if late tonight or tomorrow morning or early tomorrow, National Hurricane Center has an H here and has to be a hurricane, then that's something we'd probably cover on Agenda Free TV 1. For your YouTube viewers. For viewers on the other platforms, it's just all one channel anyway. Let's see here. But certainly, this is something to keep an eye on, and it could, a couple of days from now, the situation could look pretty different in terms of, well, we'll know a lot more. But I would not be surprised to see the forecasts ramp up on this and start calling for more intensity and a hurricane. Clown says the OZ model runs should be coming in soon, and Euro and Canadian models ran at 12Z yesterday and around 12 hours ago, so I wouldn't take what they said for granted right now. Also, the intensity graphs should be updating around any time now on tropical tidbits. Oh. Well, we might do a stream a little later on. Maybe we'll do a stream later tonight, depending on if the information has changed. Oops. Thank you, Clown. Okay. Hang on, let me check one other thing here. Let's see. Dennis Mesereau posted about what we were talking about earlier. He says, I know it annoys the heck out of meteorologists to talk about running out of names soon, but imagine how annoying it would have been in 2005. We're 4 names away from exhausting the list and diving into Greek letters. I don't know why it would have been annoying in 2005. Did they not have Greek? Did they not have the Greek name system set up in 2005? But again, once you get, there's 4 more names, Sally, and then 3 more, and then it goes into Greek letters. All right. Well, guys, I think we have said what we know about this. We've covered the major points. So, let me just see something. Hold on. I might have missed a couple messages here. Let's see. Laura Garcia says, if it goes south, it will have an easier chance to develop. Yeah, if it does, the further south it goes, and if it were to go south enough that it missed a lot of Florida, that could certainly help it stay stronger, but we'll just have to see, what happens. There's your radar too. Okay, so certainly, this is something we're going to keep our eye on. I do anticipate doing more streams on this because as I said, if you're watching on YouTube, if it so happens that the National Hurricane Center updates their prediction to it becoming a hurricane, we'll start covering it on Agenda Free TV. So I appreciate you joining us for this live stream. I anticipate tonight. Well, it depends on if there's not other news I want to cover. I anticipate doing a stream on my personal channel. So in addition to the news channels, there's also a personal channel I have. Now that's only on YouTube. So look, kind of confusing. This is Agenda Free TV 1 on YouTube. You're currently watching Agenda Free TV 2 if you're watching on YouTube. But there's also my personal channel called Lookner on YouTube. And I do non-news streams. So if there isn't news tonight that I want to cover, I will end up doing a stream on my personal channel, Lookner. A great way to get so a great way to get notified, if you want to know when I'm going on the air on any of the channels, the best way is to join the Discord. The Discord is a chat room where people who watch my channels have a chat room. The Discord is like a chatting app / chatting site where lots of different shows and people have Discords devoted to them and subjects. But there is an unofficial Agenda Free TV / Lookner viewer Discord where the viewers chat with each other when we're not on the air. But if you sign up for that, whether or not you participate in the chat, you get great notifications when I'm coming on the air on any of the channels. And if you have the app on your phone, the Discord app, actually it pops up right on your phone. So if I'm coming on the air at like 2 a.m. to cover breaking news, it'll just pop right up on your phone. So it's a good way to not miss broadcasts. So if you're interested in the Discord chat, and just checking it out, or even again signing up for the notifications, you can find that link at the bottom of the YouTube video description for this video, and also the mods can post the Discord link in the chat rooms. So check that out if you haven't. And for any of the YouTube channels you do subscribe to, make sure to get notifications that you hit the notifications bell. See that bell? You got to hit the bell and choose all notifications, all. Bell all. Okay, but we will certainly keep you posted on what's going on with this. I would say this is certainly something you should be concerned about if you're on the Gulf Coast, because there's a lot of uncertainty about where it's going to go and how strong it's going to get. I will post on my Twitter account, @Lookner, if I get updates before we come on the air again. So @Lookner on Twitter is where you can follow me for breaking news updates. Let's see here. All right, so I want to thank you for joining this live stream here at Agenda Free TV on TV2 on YouTube and Agenda Free TV on the other platforms. Thanks for all of your comments. A lot of people wrote in, sent comments, and sent news links and stuff like that, so appreciate your help in covering this. Also, big thanks to our moderators. They're awesome. They're all volunteers. Let's thank the mods. Uchikabala, Curly Q, Contau Creek, Havasumam, Joanna, Sarah, Mark Helton, all in our YouTube chat. Thank you. Uchikabala. Also our Periscope mods. Sharon Craig, Linda Belk has been there. Thank you. Our Facebook mods. Denise Fredrickson's in there right now moderating. Thank you, Denise. Also, we've had Kimberly Peterson, Courtney Lane, our mods too. Shay Durner, Joe Serino, Dan Lindquist, Josh Tompkins, Ann Remington as well. And our Twitch moderators. Thanks to all the Twitch mods. Much appreciated. Idaho Star, Riff Tracks, Chariag, thank you. If any of you would like to be a moderator, that would be amazing. To find out about being a moderator, you should ask the mods for an email address you can write to for more information. We can always use more mods. That would be awesome. Okay, what was I going to say? going to say thanks to people in our chat rooms. Hey, thanks Dog Lounge TV, the evil actor, watching in our Twitch chat, in our Twitch broadcast, and others. Thank you. Thanks to our Facebook viewers. Oh, thanks also to, hang on, where's this at? Thanks for the Facebook stars, Valerie Maglio Ecchetti, and everybody I thanked earlier. Thank you. Denise Fredrickson, Brian Wingett, Sean Keating, Sabrina Peak, thank you, and Ghosty Girl and Linda Belk for the Super Hearts. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Thanks, of course, to the donors. Thanks to people who donated. Your support is what allows me to cover news full-time and stream full-time, so I really appreciate your support. Thanks to everybody who donated. Yeah, this was the first broadcast of Agenda Free TV 2 that was monetized. The channel's now monetized. So thanks for watching, so it got monetized. All right, thanks to our Facebook viewers. Valerie, thank you. Sabrina Peak. Julie Hand Burke, thank you. Eric Avanti, George Switch, and others watching on Facebook. And Karen Bressler. All right, Ghosty Lee, thanks for watching on Periscope. And Goosehammer. Omar says going to hit Miami. Well, if it quote-unquote hits Miami, if anything, it'll be either a tropical depression or a weak tropical storm. So it's not going to be very strong when it passes over or near Miami. Sandra says, will there be any storm surge on South Beach? Good question. Sandra, I have not heard any forecast of storm surge. I assume, well, you just don't have enough wind. The storm surge comes from the wind. So my assumption would be that the wind is not strong enough and maybe not organized well enough to have storm surge. And this thing only just developed into a tropical depression, so the wind hasn't been blowing for that long. So not enough winds to bring storm surge, apparently, because I've heard no mention of storm surge for the southeast Florida coast from National Hurricane Center. But it's a good question, though. All right, thanks, Sam Clem. Daniel Bailey says, I hope me and my family doesn't have to evacuate again. Thanks also to JMJ Show Channel, Flatfoot, Sarah Blackwood, Ron Rogers, Nicole Parrish, Ben H., Ruth Walton, thank you, Rogue Dog, Jessica McBride, Christian Montoya, Brenda Bradley, Smedley, Alibaba, Concerned Citizen, Sam Clem, Miss Sal, Po Siwi, Beth Stannard, Michael Birch, and everybody else watching. Oh, thank you, Jimmy Campo Seco, for subscribing. And Raymond Morales. And Tony Del Monte. All right, guys, I am wrapping up this live stream. Again, I'll either be covering news tonight or I'll be doing a stream on my personal channel, Lookner channel on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Apocalypse, in our Periscope chat for watching. And Lee Lewis. All right, guys, that's it for now. We'll certainly keep an eye on this storm, and I anticipate doing more coverage of it. But thanks for now, and I will see you soon with more live news coverage on Agenda Free TV and Agenda Free TV 2.